My Tesla Model 3 is no longer the fastest car in the $50,000 EV range, and that's why I'm selling it. Here are 3 reasons why I'm selling my Tesla Model 3 Performance and 3 reasons why you should consider getting one. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Richard and this is Rich on Track. On this channel, I like to talk about Tesla, and I also love to take my Tesla out to the racetrack. Oh man, he's so fast! Oh, he's catching me though! Woo! We race against other electric vehicles, American muscle cars, and sometimes even exotics like Lamborghinis. Can you put me up against the Lambo and see if he wants to race me? So if that interests you, make sure to subscribe and check out my other videos. Alright, so let's get into the 3 reasons why I'm going to be selling my Tesla Model 3 Performance. The first reason is that it's no longer the fastest electric vehicle in the $50,000 range. So last Thursday, as I usually do, I go out to the drag strip and I race my Model 3 Performance. And this time I noticed there's a Kia EV6 GT there. And I said, alright, let's go race this dude. And to my surprise, he actually beat me. So for some context, I'm usually the fastest electric vehicle out there, and I beat probably 95% of the cars that go out to the racetrack. The Model 3 Performance has a 0 to 60 time of 3.1 seconds, and with its all-wheel drive system, I usually get a really good launch, and I'm able to beat 95, maybe 98% of the cars that I meet out on the track. And the Model 3 Performance runs a 7.3 on the 8th mile, which is incredibly fast, especially for its $50,000 price. And to put that into some more context here, my Model 3 Performance actually does an 11.5 on the quarter mile. So you can imagine the surprise when my first race against the Kia EV6 GT was a loss for me. And here's that race. All right, we're going up against this Kia, I think it's an EV6 behind me. Oh, it's beautiful. All right, here we go. I gave him a head start, my bad. I was messing with my timer there. Oops. I gave him a head start, my bad. I was messing with my timer there. I'm gonna run it again. My bad, shoot. I was not ready for that. I was looking down at my box there, so I gave him a 0.8 of a second head start. We got to do that again. Margin of victory there was 0.8 of a second. So if I had paid attention to the lights, I think we would have had a really close race. Yeah, so I was at, man, he's quick, 7.299. So just as fast as a Model 3 Performance. We got to do that again, jeez. You don't expect that, right, from an EV6. It looks great. And I'm like, yeah. He caught me napping at the lights because I was messing with my race box. So we decided to go again. And here's that race. We're gonna go again.
How was it?
I was sleeping at the light. We're gonna go again.
Don't do this to me now.
Yeah, I gotta go. Don't worry, I'll beat him this time.
I'm gonna give you that Mustang if you do that.
No, I got him. Got me sleeping at the light, man. Oh, man. This time, I will not be sleeping at the light. Where's he at? All right, there's that. Where's he at? All right, there's that. Woo! That was a much better race. He was really slow on that light. He was half a second on his reaction time, and I was at a 0.78. We got to go again. I feel like that's the only fair way. Best out of 3. All right, so now we are at a 7.32 at 0.078 reaction time at 95 miles an hour, and he was at a 501 reaction time at 7.265. So his 8th mile passes are actually really fast. They're faster than mine, and so if he gets a good reaction time, he's gonna get me. So yeah, shoot. We gotta go again. All right, we gotta go again. I got him.
Did you get him?
Yeah, let's do it one more time though, because he was slow off the light.
Did you beat him right now?
Yeah, I beat him.
Oh, you got him?
Yeah. Ask him if he wants to go one more time, because he was kind of slow off that light. All right, thank you. All right, we're gonna go one more time. All right, so I won that second race because of my quick reaction time. So I was like, all right, let's do it again, and hopefully he can kind of get his reaction time down. Okay. There we go. There we go. That was a pretty good race. All right, 3.110 to 60 there. Let's see what our past times are. So I was at a 7.33 at 95.74 miles an hour, and he was at a 7.29 at 97.97 miles an hour. So the reaction time there made a big difference because I was at a 0.066 and he was at a 0.312. All right, so I beat him again, and we did a few more races towards the end of the night, and I'll show you guys those races a little bit later on in the video. But there's one thing that's been incredibly consistent, and that's been his times. If you notice, his times are actually faster than my Model 3 Performance. And the Model 3 Performance is actually no slouch. This is actually my third Tesla and my second Model 3. The first Model 3 I got was a long-range rear-wheel drive Model 3 in 2018. I got it in the summer right as Tesla was going through production hell, and I actually got to meet Elon that summer as well, which was really cool. And if you guys want to hear that story, make sure to subscribe and leave a comment down below. Hey, tell me how you met Elon. All right, so back to why I'm going to be selling this Model 3 Performance. So one of the things I love to do in my Tesla is actually go on road trips. And for those long road trips, the supercharging network is great, but I have a big problem. Well, big to me, and that's these white seats. Look, they're incredibly comfortable, but the problem is I get a little sweaty, especially during the summer when I love to do my road trips. So one thing I'm really looking forward to is a car that has cooled seats. As a person that gets hot really easily, I can't believe I don't have a car that has cooled seats. So I'm super excited for my next car to have cooled seats. And the last reason why I want to get rid of this car is because of the autopilot. More specifically, it's so that I can have hardware 4 on my next car. I use all 4 cameras that the dash cam gives for my channel. I like to cut to the side cameras and the front camera sometime. And the problem with my current hardware 2.5 is that the cameras don't look that great. They're extremely low resolution and the color accuracy is really bad on them. And with hardware 4, we're getting much better, higher quality, color accurate cameras. And for someone like me, that's super important. Because as much as I like to mount cameras around the car, it's much easier and much better to just pull the footage from the car. So yeah, I'm super excited for the refreshed Model 3, codenamed Project Highland. Tesla is going to be bringing a bunch of huge upgrades to the car, and I'm super excited for them. I'm going to talk about them in my next video, but for sure the big ones for me are the cooled seats, hardware 4, and the addition of a front bumper camera. This is actually super helpful because Tesla took away the ultrasonic sensors. So adding a front camera is going to be super helpful, especially if you have trouble parking in a tight garage or something like that. All right, so we've gone over why I want to get rid of my Tesla Model 3 Performance, but let me give you 3 reasons why you want to pick one up. So ever since I switched over to electric vehicles back in 2017, I get a lot of questions. I get a lot of questions like, oh, does that thing run out of range in like 50 miles? How long does it take to charge? And even what's it like to have an electric vehicle as your only car? So for me, having an electric vehicle as my only car hasn't really been a big issue. For long road trips, the supercharger network is extremely reliable, and Tesla has been really building it out, especially the past few years. I remember when I got my first Model 3 back in 2018, and I immediately took it on a road trip to Las Vegas. At the time, the supercharging network wasn't as developed as it is today, but it was still an easy trip. There were plenty of stops along the way for restroom breaks, and there wasn't really a problem charging it up. Back then, it was only version 2 of the supercharging network, so you were only able to get 150 kilowatts, but that really wasn't a problem at all. I would make stops whenever I can because they would always come up about 45 minutes to an hour. And I would charge for about 10 to 15 minutes, hit the restroom, get some snacks or whatever, and it was always really pleasant. Earlier this year, I went to Las Vegas again, and there were way more supercharger stops along the way that I actually got to skip some. There are a lot more stalls now compared to 2018, and we have V3 supercharging, which actually gives us 250 kilowatts, and it's actually much faster, and it's not shared between the stalls like it was with V2. Overall, I really love the Tesla supercharger network, and I'm super excited for other manufacturers to be able to use it as well. And because other manufacturers are switching over to NACS, which is the North American Charging Standard, we'll all have the same plug. I know back in 2017 when I got my Chevy Bolt EV, it was a real hassle to find charging stops along the way. I remember I picked that car up and went on a short trip to San Diego, which is about 120 miles south of where I'm at. I had to use PlugShare, which is an app that allows you to find charging stops, and it really wasn't as convenient as it is today. Back then, there were a lot fewer charging stalls, and Electrify America wasn't even around back in 2017. Not to mention all the other apps that you need, such as EVgo, Blink, ChargePoint, to name a few. So I'm really curious to see how in the next few years the charging infrastructure is going to change in America. I'm really excited to see what happens, and with everyone switching over to NACS, I think it's going to be a much more seamless and a much better experience for everyone. Speaking of charging your Tesla, one of the big reasons I think a lot of people should switch to Tesla and electric vehicles in general is the home charging. For a lot of people, I'm sure your daily commute is less than 125 miles each way. And with most Teslas, you're able to get more than 250 miles of usable range every single day on an 80% charge. So for me personally, I don't commute that much. So actually I only have to charge up maybe twice a week. But let's say you have one of these longer commutes. You're actually able to top off your car every single day and never have to stop at a gas station ever again. Not to mention the huge savings you'll have no longer having to go to the gas station. A full charge really depends on how much electricity costs in your area, but it could be as little as $10 to anywhere from like $30 to $40 depending on your electricity rate, which is a lot less than gasoline if you think about it. And for anyone looking to get a Tesla, make sure you figure out your charging solution before you actually buy the car, because you want to be able to charge it up when you get it home. For anyone getting a Tesla, I always recommend the mobile connector. Back in 2018 when I got my first Model 3, it was actually included with the car. But nowadays, Tesla no longer includes it, so make sure you buy that. And it's available with the NEMA 1450 outlet as well as the 515 outlet. Those are the two most common plugs and the ones you actually really want. So when I got the mobile connector, it didn't include the NEMA 1450, which I had to buy on Tesla's website for I think it was like 35 or 40 bucks. And the home I was moving into was actually ready for an electric vehicle plug. All I had to do was hire an electrician to come and install the outlet. It cost around $400 to have the electrician come out and install the outlet for me. It was a NEMA 1450, and with that outlet, I was able to connect my mobile charger. The mobile charger gets you about 30 miles per hour, and it's a lot quicker than the normal 4 miles that you get with the regular wall outlet. But if you have a bigger battery pack or you're looking for something that charges a little faster, Tesla also offers a wall connector. These look a lot cooler, but they're also a little more expensive at $475. These wall connectors are hardwired, unlike the mobile connectors. So if you ever move, you're not going to be able to take it with you without a lot of hassle. With the mobile connector, you just unplug it from the wall and take it with you. But with these wall connectors, you're able to wire them up to a bigger breaker, which means you get more power out of them. You can pull 11.5 kilowatts, which translates to about 44 miles an hour. But because you'll need a bigger gauge wire, you'll probably have an electrician come out. It's going to cost you a lot more money to have these wall connectors installed. For me, I currently have a mobile connector as well as a wall connector, but it's actually not a Tesla one. I had this wall connector installed and it actually hooks up to a 60 amp breaker, which allows me to pull 48 amps of power. Now let me give you an example of why a wall connector is actually a little bit better than a mobile connector. Let's say you have a Model S long range that has a bigger 100 kilowatt battery versus our Model 3s and Model Ys, which has about a 77 kilowatt hour battery. So let's say you get home from a long road trip and it's like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. and you have to go to work the next morning. Well, you'd want a wall connector because you're able to pull 44 miles versus the 32, so an extra 12 miles an hour. And that can make a big difference if you only have, let's say, 5-6 hours to charge overnight versus your standard, 10 to 12 hours on a normal day because you came home from this long road trip. Well, let's say you only have 6 hours to charge up. Well, 6 miles at 44 miles an hour gives you 264 miles with the wall connector. Versus a mobile connector, you'd get 32 miles, and at 6 hours, that's 192 hours. So you'd be getting an extra 72 miles of range in that short period of time. Again, I feel like this use case is a little more rare, but you kind of get the point. And let's say you have another electric vehicle. Tesla just rolled out this universal wall connector, and it's a little more expensive at $595, but it actually has 2 plugs. It's got the NACS as well as the J1772. So if you have another electric vehicle and a Tesla, this actually might be a great solution for you. And another cool thing about the wall connector is that it has swappable faceplates on it. So you can get one that matches your car's color. So the Tesla supercharging network is one of the big reasons, as well as having a home charging solution is another big reason to switch to electric. Autopilot is probably the biggest reason why I wanted to switch to a Tesla. I remember back in 2017, I was on the freeway and I looked over and it was an older Model S. And I'll never forget this. The Model S owner actually had a full-on newspaper out. He was like this, reading his newspaper as the car was driving him behind this big 18-wheeler. And I remember seeing that driver just casually reading the newspaper as his car was driving him, and I was like, all right, I need to switch to Tesla because I need this autopilot. I can't tell you how many times I've relied on autopilot. It's a system that I fully trust with my life, because there's been times where I've dozed off on the freeway, especially in heavy bumper-to-bumper traffic, and I can trust that the car will steer, brake, and accelerate without me having to do much. All you have to do is really tap the wheel once in a while, and especially at slow speeds, you don't have to tap the wheel that often. I had enhanced autopilot on my 2018 Model 3, and it was cool to have it change lanes for me, summon, and all that cool stuff, but to be honest, I'd rather just save the money now and just use the basic autopilot as it is. In the refreshed Model 3, which is coming out very, very soon, I hope, they're going to have hardware 4 cameras. And as I mentioned earlier, these cameras are much higher resolution and much more color accurate. Hopefully this allows Tesla to make autopilot even safer. And obviously, I love my Model 3 performance because it's a ton of fun to drive. With the all-wheel drive system and the instant torque, it feels like you're driving a rocket ship. And obviously it's not as great as having a V8 or something, but to me, I really enjoy the quiet. I've had my loud sports cars in the past, but as I get older, I realize I value peace and quiet a lot more. So there are a few reasons why I'm getting rid of this Tesla Model 3 and why you should consider getting a Tesla as well. If you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Please consider checking out my other videos where I race a Lamborghini.
Put me up against the Lambo and see if he wants to race me.
I've also got more videos coming out very soon, including videos about the new Tesla Model 3 refresh, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And as promised, here are the other races between me and the Kia EV6 GT. And big shout out to Jose, he was really cool to talk to. Check out his Instagram and his YouTube, linked down below. And if you guys are ever near Irwindale on Thursday nights, come out to the track. It's a ton of fun to see the cars go racing, and if you see me, come say hi. Okay, we're going up against the Kia EV6 again. That's the GT version. It's actually faster than the Model 3 Performance down the 8th mile here. I'm at 78% state of charge, and I've been in the supercharger mode. I've been routing to a supercharger so that the battery gets up to temperature.
Oh, it's a close race. Oh, it's a close race. Ooh, man, that was close. We had a 3.130 to 60 time here.
Okay, let's see. We did a 7.37 at 95 miles an hour, and he was a 7.36 at 97.72 miles an hour. Our margin of victory there was 7/100ths of a second, which was a little bit more than the reaction time difference there. So really, a reaction time has been my big advantage. We're going up against the Kia EV6 GT again. We are at very similar state of charges. I was talking to the owner earlier, and he was in the, I think, mid-70s, and I'm also in the mid-70s. And really the difference between our last race was just the reaction time.
That's my Tesla killer. My Tesla killer. Right
Yeah,
there.
this guy's,
Oh, that Kia's still here.
he's quick, man. Like, it's our last race was all down to reaction time.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Am I gonna race him again? Could I race him again?
I think you are.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, you are.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you.
All right, man.
So I've been preconditioning the battery here, so hopefully the battery is up to temperature. Oh, he had a great reaction time. It's gonna be close. Oh, he had a great reaction time. It's gonna be close. Oh, I think he just got me. Oh, man. Ooh, we gotta go to the slips to see. I think he just got me though. At a 3.120 to 60, so we're losing a little bit of time here. All right, we ran a 7.39 and he had a 7.29. Wow, his fastest time of the night, I think, at least against me. And our reaction times are very close. That guy just got me last race.
Did he really?
Yeah, let's see. He had a great time. Like, what did he have? Both of our reaction times were super fast, right?
Yeah.
And he ran a 7.29 and I ran a 1/10 of a second slower. Yeah, look at that. I lost by less than a 10.
That thing was faster.
Yeah, that thing was fast, man. I was like, holy crap.
That's weird.
I wasn't expecting that.
Like, tell me about it. I didn't either.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it's a Kia. I didn't think
Yeah, that's what I was like. No way this guy's gonna beat me.
it built him that damn fast.
Hopefully he comes back around. Oh, there he is. So we'll see if he comes back around. We could do one more race. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.